side view for my whole crew.
I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today we're going to review the 14th studio album from the Mountain Goats. How can you do that? I mean, 14 studio albums.
Just pumps them out, man.
Every year.
Yeah.
The Mountain Goats, Transcendental Youth. That's the album we're going to review. As I said, 14th album from this band. It's really main frontman John Darnielle. And the Mountain Goats, you know, started off as just acoustic guitar and John Darnielle, and then it has evolved, you know, on 4-track, just like shitty recordings, just really just lo-fi, just kind of indie organic startup following, you know, and then grew into something that was a bit more of a full band sound, a bit more professional. Albums like Tallahassee and the Sunset Tree in 2005, you know, really brought this band to kind of the indie mainstream. And those are albums, my two favorite Mountain Goats albums, you know, that showed a lot of heart, they showed a lot of creativity and, you know, kind of foresight and how to design a full record around such a simple sound.
Yes.
Because while they have gotten more complex over the years, the Mountain Goats, their sound is still, in its organic state, very, very simple. The components are just acoustic guitar, John Darnielle's quirky voice with his quirky lyrics, and then, you know, maybe some, you know, bass, light drums, just instrumental backings. But the focus is built around, these songs start as acoustic guitar songs.
Yeah.
And then John Darnielle builds in other instruments around it. Such is the same on Transcendental Youth. You see a lot of, you know, just very simple songs here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
With one major change. What did you notice was the big change in this one, Tom?
Extra instrumentals.
There you go.
You have some horns, you have some strings coming into the mix. Not that he's a total stranger to that, but they play a much larger role here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a soft jazz sort of vibe sometimes, you know. You get a nice warm sound from like trumpets, trombones, saxophone. Later on, there's even clarinet and flute involved. And they really were produced in a way that give the album more of a, it creates depth within the song itself, because it's like the song has more of a body to analyze.
Yeah, because there's a little more distance between them, and you have, it sounds kind of like John Darnielle and all the other things in the mix are happening right in front of that, and there's this thick wall kind of pushing everything forward towards you. And I think it's a really cool production approach. That's actually one of my favorite aspects of this album, is the production and the instrumentation, how that all comes together. It's a little thicker, it's a little more meaty, and I like that. I really dig into that. Not that I don't like some lo-fi acoustic numbers every now and then, but for a guy who's on his 14th album, it makes sense to go in that direction. He's got that kind of budget now, and he's reached the point in his creativity where he needs those things to really help flesh out the ideas and really distance them from what he's already done.
That's a great point. I felt like his creativity didn't really come out as much on this one.
No, not quite. I almost felt like he was compensating with those extra instrumentals for the fact that I just felt like a lot of these.
On him,
I felt like a lot of these songs just weren't all that interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the fact is that he really only used the cool jazz kind of vibe and those extra instrumentals on like half, maybe less than half the tracks. And the others are just very simple songs. There's very, very few truly, you know, songs that have a lot of energy to them. There's very few emotional songs that really connect, and you know, you pointed out right before we turn on the camera, Tom, something about that really kind of resonated with me about the Mountain Goats, and you have to be able to relate to this band. And if you can't emotionally connect with what John Darnielle is singing to you, it's really hard to get behind anything that they're doing. And I felt like the lyrics never got me on this one. John Darnielle and the mood of the songs never convinced me that I need to be emotionally invested in this.
I totally agree.
Yeah, the exception is I kind of like the last song, the title track, a lot. I felt like that had a warm kind of feeling to it, and kind of emoted a little bit more. But nothing about this never impressed me enough that the contrast was great enough that it made me wake up and go, wow, this is something special. I need to cherish this. Instead, you have a lot of, you know, nicely written, nicely just drawn up tracks that are nicely performed, and it's nice kind of background music. This is, to me, I listened to this like 4 or 5 times and was like, All right, I got it. And I'll probably not come back to this one. I don't know about you.
No, probably not. It was enjoyable enough, but it's the kind of thing where if I'm going to listen to something with this sound, I think there's other albums I'm going to go to first.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, especially when you have 14 to choose from, if I'm going to listen to the Mountain Goats and I want more of a quirky sound, kind of John Darnielle kind of playing with his creativity, I'm going to go Tallahassee.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if I'm looking for something more emotional, I'm going the Sunset Tree. I'm never going to stop again and go Transcendental Youth. There's just too many issues at play here, and I think it just kind of weakens the whole album. You know, but still, you might like it. You might have some tracks that you go, wow, this is really solid. But if you do, I would definitely take the time, if you've listened to this album and haven't listened to some of his older work, and even some of like his older work had some really cool gems back there. I just think they're more scattered and not as album based.
Yeah,
definitely do that. But overall, in this one, I'm thinking I'm sitting 66.
I'm going 67.
So we're in the mid to upper 60s. I kind of even feel like we're overdoing it on this one. Just
maybe a little bit.
Because there are still some
Because we do like
tracks here.
like John Darnielle, we like his voice, his approach, his sound, and,
Yeah.
and most of that is here. It's just the songs just aren't up to par.
It just doesn't have that energy we're looking for. So tell us what you guys think at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. If you're a big Mountain Goats fan, let us know what your favorite album is and tell us on Twitter or Facebook, which you should like and follow us there because, you know, that's where we do most of our talking with you guys, and you guys rock and make VIMTV everything that it is today. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
And you can't tell me what my spirit tells me isn't true.